Everybody knows that if you wait until the last minute to do your Christmas shopping, you'll just buy random stuff that nobody wants and spend way too much money. I'll be doing Christmas decorating soon, but now is the time for creating my favorite DIY Christmas gifts. Last year, it was estimated that Americans spent $15.2 billion. That's billion with a B, on unwanted Christmas gifts. I'm hearing two things. One, that's a lot of money, and two, a lot of unwanted items. The solution seems obvious. Spend less money and get things that people want? I know for sure I can help you with the expense part and hopefully some thoughtful ideas. For a gift to be thoughtful, you kind of need to know the person. For people you don't know well, but you are obliged to get them a gift for some reason, just give them a gift card. My first step for Christmas shopping is to stock up on thrift store frames. All sizes, all styles. They can be empty frames or just frames with ugly stuff in them. The people that design frames are successful when they have a look that can blend easily with many decor styles. Simple lines go well with mid-century modern, or farmhouse, or industrial, or Scandi, or Asian. Ornate frames work in a traditional home, or grand millennial, or French, or Victorian, or cottagecore. Now this one, I would go boho, or sparkly girly room, or maybe Hollywood glamour. Just a touch of whimsy for a bold person. I look for sturdy frames with glass intact and preferably a nice mat. Double mat is even better. I don't worry about colors or scratches since those things can easily be fixed. Once you get them home, take them apart and clean them thoroughly, especially the glass. Then touch up any damage with scratch cover. I wait to paint until I decide what I want to put in the frame. Both frames and mats can be repainted. And what's the best thing to put in a frame? Well, original art, of course, right? The most abundant source of original art is kids. Now, before you say most kids' art is just garbage, I'm going to show you the work of some renowned contemporary artists. And you might recognize the simple forms that children make. This is the work of Cy Twombly, an American artist who lived from 1928 to 2011. His work is found in museums all over the world. The Louvre Museum commissioned him to paint a ceiling. He was a big deal. And this one, Arnulf Rainer, an Austrian born in 1929, has several different styles. I know people now keep their photos digitally archived, but I'm certain my children were not the only ones to add their touch to a photo album. Parents often need help displaying their impressive collection of contemporary art to best advantage. Now, here's the unconventional part of the gift. Go to the parents, walk, 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 walk. Knock, 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 knock. Solicit their children's art. Give them a little warning so they stop throwing it away. Trust me, parents are often eager to get some of these out of the house. Now, these pieces are going to be a present from my friend, the mother of the young artist. Stuck on the fridge or taped to the wall, children's creations can feel like clutter. But framed creatively, you have art. These frames were $3. Notice how the existing mat elevates the piece. These 3 pieces were painted in the same session, so all of the children used the same paints, so the color palettes are unified and they work well together. And these jellyfish were painted by 2 of the children, the younger one probably copying the older. I cut them out and taped them over an inexpensive Finding Nemo print, $1.25 at the thrift store. I was just going to use the frame, but liked how the colors blended with the children's art, creating an unusual mat. The mother will get these Christmas presents, which is perfect since they're moving into a larger house and need art for the blank walls. I could see these in the children's bedroom or bathroom, the hallway leading to their rooms, a playroom, or even a beach house if they happen to get one of those someday. Watch future videos when we decorate their house. See if you can spot this art, probably 2 or 3 months down the road. Once a child begins to draw deliberately, some instruction and exposure to different styles and media can result in a different kind of work. This is a block print my son Daniel made when he was in elementary school. It's been a treasure for over 30 years. I had it framed and matted. Now, don't judge the metal frame. It was the 80s. But Daniel still notices where I hang his little owl. Exposure to contemporary artists can get kids and adults excited. Some of my favorites are Jackson Pollock's drip technique, Mondrian's geometric work, and Picasso's line drawings. I am including in the description some links to lesson plans for inspiring the child in all of us to create similar pieces. This fish was created by a child inspired by Jackson Pollock. I remember visiting the apartment of a friend in college who had created her own Mondrian style canvas.
All right.
And then there are the Picasso line drawings. I watched a 10-year-old draw a perfect penguin in seconds after seeing this. I love line drawings. Who wouldn't want this stretching cat mounted in a classic mid-century wooden frame that I found for 25 cents at a thrift store? It's perfect for my California daughter's very sophisticated modern house. If you're not confident enough to freehand these, tape a piece of sketch paper to your computer and trace lightly with a pencil. Then finish with a Sharpie or charcoal pencil, my personal favorite. Here is a collection of line drawings used in a child's bedroom, a very high-end designer bedroom. If you want to just buy some, check this out on First Dibs. You can get a set of 6 of these for just under $7,000. Framed, of course. Do note, these are after Picasso. That means they were made by a skilled artist, but not Picasso. I know some pretty skilled children. Maybe you have skills. Mad skills. I love this so much, I snagged another wooden frame. I like this owl, but I have 2 grandsons that would love this fox. If you have not stopped the video to go make a line drawing yourself or drip art or geometric design, remember that art is something everyone can do. Queen Victoria sketched her children. King Charles III paints, that's Balmoral, and Winston Churchill painted, even in the middle of World War II. He was actually very good and wrote a little book on painting. It's a wonderful pastime and a gift your family and friends will treasure. When I offer my embarrassing original art to my kids, I always say, you can put it in the bathroom or a closet. Strangely, they put it in prominent spots. Let me know in the comments if you want to explore this more. I can't teach you how to paint, but I can share my favorite tips and sources of inspiration. Before photography, silhouette making was very popular. The original way included darkened rooms, direct light with a shadow focused on paper. But now you just need a photo taken in profile. This is just an online photo of a beautiful little girl. What makes this one so good is the hair and the eyelashes. Once you have a good profile photo, print it out, sized for your frame on either photo paper or printer paper. I used cheap printer paper. Carefully cut out the image. I exaggerated the eyelashes. Blacken it with either paint or marker. I used markers since the paper was so thin. Then plop it in a frame. This one was 75 cents with a white background. Imagine a collection of all of someone's children or grandchildren. A priceless gift. If your family is anything like mine, there's a stash of old photographs somewhere. In my family, it was a broken suitcase in my mother's basement. Almost 30 years ago, I retrieved an assortment of photos, framed several of them, and let my mother and sister choose the ones they wanted. And that was their Christmas present. These came back to me when my mother closed her house. I used picture frames from a sale at Michael's. This was before I discovered thrift stores, but they were still inexpensive, cherished gifts. I also love images of family homes. This was my great-grandparents' house in Jackson, North Carolina, around 1900. This was the actual handmade architect's rendering of my grandparents' home built in the 1930s. It had to be custom framed because it was an odd size. I have original architect's plans for the house my parents built in 1968. I need to frame the elevations. It would make a good present for a child interested in architecture or engineering. If you have someone in your life who's moving to a first apartment or upsizing, they will need so many items to fill all their walls. Look at thrift stores or go to Abes books, linked below, and find used coffee table books on a subject that your recipient is interested in. Botany or birds, ships or shells, wars or walruses. If it's a child whose interests are changing or an in-law, ask a parent or spouse for help. Then create a collection that can be used on a large wall. This week I saw half a dozen identical frames with mats that would have been perfect for this idea. As I recall, they were $6 each. I didn't buy them because I did not have a recipient in mind. If you don't know the person well enough to know what they're interested in, why are you buying them a present? Give them a gift card. These are Godi prints, essentially the fashion magazine of the 1800s. If there was someone in your life who loves fashion, frame pages from vintage Vogue magazines. If someone likes geography or photography, it's easy to find old National Geographic magazines with magnificent photographs. Talented photographers are working for the big magazines, and the quality of the paper is high. I also like little frames with cards. I know my grandmother did this in the 1930s. This was a greeting card. I have shown these little cards in previous videos. I'm not giving these away this Christmas, but I know any of my kids would gladly take them. I have a few ideas also for shadow boxes, something I find regularly at thrift stores. I love this geode. I mentioned in my Cabinets of Curiosity videos where you can find these perfect stocking stuffers for all ages. Linked below is my video and educational innovations where I buy them. This shadow box was a bit damaged, but I just hot glued the geode over the damage. With the shadow box and geode, the total cost was $2. I also put fossils in a shadow box. My family loves the natural sciences, so these are a hit with my crew. The nerd gene is strong in this family. This shadow box has my mother's old earrings that I remember her wearing in the 1950s and 60s. Old costume jewelry has become popular and is fun to display. This cost me $3. The reason this is inexpensive is because it was sitting in a drawer. The reason it's cherished is because of the family connection. A great-grandfather's pocket watch or money clip or pocket knife or scout badges would be perfect in a shadow box. Items picked up on a memorable vacation or date. Implements from a grandparent's professional trade, or their trademark reading glasses, or baby toys or clothing, sports memorabilia, any objects that are too sentimental to throw out but feel cluttery on a shelf. One year, my sister took two of my mother's small dolls from the 1930s and put them in shadow boxes. Mom hung them in her powder room, which was perfect. You had a quiet moment to study them. They were fascinating. Sorry I don't have photos. Trust me, they were amazing. A Japanese doll with wigs and a doll with hinged joints. Another thing I do with my children and grandchildren is to let them shop my collections of found objects and framed art, like these earrings in the shadow box. I'm not sure who would like them, but if someone's face lights up when they see them, they get to take them home. It also saves me the trouble of wrapping. Now, if no one reacts to the earrings, I take it apart and remake it into something else. Give this video a thumbs up if you're thinking about which gift you would choose from my stash, or if you're feeling inspired by any of the gift ideas. Finding cheap frames, super easy. Being thoughtful about what people like requires observation and creativity. But you know, the most creative solutions and the best stories begin with the biggest challenges. See you next time.